Hey everyone, good afternoon. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come hang out with us today and learn a little bit more about the Massachusetts APEX Accelerator. We're really excited to have everybody here. Um, my name is Jeff Brant, and I am the director of the Massachusetts APEX Accelerator, and we are hosted by Mass MEP, which is the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. So before we kind of jump in, just a little housekeeping. One, if any questions throughout the webinar, you can either wait till the end when we have a Q&A or type them into the webinar chat, and we'll go ahead and answer those at the end. And then also throughout the webinar today, you'll see a couple polls pop up. Please, we encourage everyone to answer those polls. And yeah, so we're going to kind of jump in. So what we're going to do today is walk through who we are, what services do we provide, and honestly, what helps small businesses succeed in government contracting. So we're not going to take a deep dive into regulations or FAR clauses. This is more to help you understand where to start, what matters, what mistakes to avoid, and how Mass Apex can support you through the process. So whether you're completely new to government contracting or already doing some work and trying to grow, there should be something useful here for you to take back. So I'll keep this moving so we can leave plenty of questions to the end. Next slide. Okay, so who are we? So the Massachusetts APEX Accelerator helps businesses in the Commonwealth pursue federal, state, and local government contracting opportunities. That's our main mission. And like I said before, we are hosted by Massachusetts Manufacturing Extension Partnership. One thing I always like to clarify right away, we are not consultants trying to sell you services. Everything we do is at no cost for our fantastic Massachusetts businesses. So our job really is to help businesses navigate a space that can honestly be confusing and overwhelming when we first get into it. And we work with all different types of companies, manufacturers, service providers, technology firms, startups, established businesses. I mean, honestly, if you sell jams and jellies and there's a market for you in government, we'll help you, right? A big part of what we do is helping companies figure out who buys what they sell, where they realistically fit, and what path makes the most sense. Because not every company should chase the same strategy. Okay, next slide. So one thing that makes APEX, what I think makes APEX very valuable is that we don't operate alone, right? We work with a pretty large ecosystem of partners, depending on what a client needs. So that includes services like the SBA, Project Spectrum for cybersecurity, the DoD Mentor Protege program, the manufacturing extension partnerships all around the region, federal labs for our innovation people, prime contractors, state and federal agencies that are within, at least the Massachusetts area. So in like the issue of financing or cybersecurity, whatever it may be, we can connect you to the right people pretty quickly. And if we don't know, we'll find out pretty quickly. So a lot of government contracting is about relationship building and finding the right resources early instead of trying to figure everything out alone and all at once, okay? So next slide. So big picture, this is what we do. We support businesses through the full government contracting lifecycle, and that can mean so many things. So we can, help somebody register in SAM for the first time, help you identify opportunities that are out there, whether it's state, municipality, or federal. We can help you come up with a subcontracting strategy. We can perform market research, help you with any socioeconomic certifications or veteran-owned small business certifications, whatever it may be. Help you with some basic cybersecurity guidance and what that means in today's government contracting. proposal support, or long-term growth planning. So honestly, most clients don't come in needing just one thing. Usually it's like, hey, we registered in SAM. Now what? So that's really kind of where the real work starts. Our goal is not just helping businesses register, it's helping them build an actual strategy, right? And you'll hear me say this a couple times probably during this slideshow. It's to make you competitive in a market that has a lot of people in it, right? Next slide. So business readiness assessment. So one of the first conversations we usually have is around readiness, because government contracting can be a great market, but it's not the right fit for every business immediately. So initially, when we're doing your intake or you're meeting with one of our advisors, we're looking at things like operational capacity, financial stability, staffing, past performance. What certifications do you have, or what certifications are you going after? And overall business readiness. So what we found out is a lot of companies can right into bidding immediately, but sometimes the better move is, strengthening operations first, building commercial past performance, or entering through subcontracting before chasing prime contracts. And that's okay. The goal is to build a realistic path instead of wasting time chasing opportunities that you might not be ready for. So that's why you'd be working with us. We'll help you, not waste that time. We'll help you strategically and foundationally get to the opportunities that you're wanting to get to. Next slide. So SAM registration support. So this is the ticket, right? This is the first thing that everyone will need to do to get into federal contracting. And sometimes even state, if you're working on grants that are tied federally, you will have to be in SAM. So there's, caveats to that. So SAM is basically the federal government's vendor registration system. So if you want to pursue federal contracts, like I said before, you need an active SAM registration. So now technically anybody can do SAM themselves. The challenge is people make mistakes constantly, and it's not the most business-friendly system to work in. So we see things all the time like wrong NAICS codes that are put in, incomplete registrations, expired renewals, or even things like entity validation issues. In SAM, you'll have to verify your IRS information with the federal government. And if it's not exactly the way it is in your IRS documentation, it'll stall and we'll have to go back and fix that. So what we do is help businesses get registered correctly, select appropriate industry codes, right? Your NAICS codes, what it is that you do, what service or what do you sell, and then understand what certifications may apply. And then big time, we want to be compliant moving forward. So SAM registration is not your government contracting strategy, so to speak. It's just your entry ticket. Next slide. Now, certifications are probably one of the biggest topics we get asked about. Everybody wants to know, what certification should I get? And the answer that I always give my clients is, it depends, right? Certifications can absolutely help. They can open doors to set aside contracts and help you position you and your company with agencies and prime contractors, but they are tools. They're not magic, right? So the four main federal certifications that we usually work with, is 8A for socially and economically disadvantaged small businesses, woman-owned small businesses, hub zones, and either VOSB, veteran-owned small business, or service-disabled veteran-owned small business. And what we help you do basically is, we want to check your eligibility, right? Do you qualify? Does it align with your target market? And how are you actually going to use it strategically? Because getting certified and sitting back waiting for a contract to happen usually doesn't work. So you still need to have outreach. You still need to position you and your business, and you still need to create relationships. Okay. So next slide, please. So training and workshops. A big part of government contract is just learning how the environment works, right? What new ecosystem we're a part of. It's a different language. There's different processes, different expectations. There's a lot of compliance involved, and honestly, a lot of acronyms, which sucks. So we run regular trainings and webinars throughout the year. Congratulations, everyone that is here is a part of our very first webinar. So thank you for joining. But some are going to be beginner focused, like how the government buying works, SAM registrations, simple certifications, or subcontracting basics. And others are going to be more advanced, like cybersecurity, compliance, proposal strategy, market research, and agency engagement. And the way that I think that MAAPEX is going to figure that out is, as we, with the clients that we have and the clients that are going to continue to join MAAPEX, right, we do want to send something out to you guys saying, hey, what are some subjects or some areas in government contracting that you want us to speak on? So we can start adding those into, our webinar, or at least a training that is going to touch on that, so that we can send something back up to you. We also bring in outside partners, subject matter experts pretty regularly. For instance, next week, we're going to have a GSA webinar where we're going to have a GSA representative, Michelle. She's going to come on, and I believe it's how to work with GSA, correct? Yeah, so we're going to start with that. And then honestly, even, experienced contractors, still need to attend training constantly, because if you haven't been paying attention, changes all of the time, right? It's even hard for us to keep up. Next slide. So one thing small businesses underestimate is marketing. A lot of companies think that, one, I registered in SAM, so agencies will come find me. And that's not how it works. You still need to position yourself properly. So one of the biggest tools is your capability statement, which is basically like your company's resume, but it's more government focused. And most of the capability statements that I see, need work, but what I see is usually they're a little too wordy, too technical, unclear, or don't explain why the company matters. Buyers and primes, they move fast. So you need to explain what you do, who you support, your differentiators, and your certification, and why somebody should talk to you. So we're trying to answer a question for that agency or for that prime that, hey, I do have a solution for this thing that you are doing, or this contract that you just won. So quickly, we also talk a lot about visibility and outreach strategy, because relationships matter heavily in this space. Next slide. So market research. A lot of businesses waste huge amounts of time chasing opportunities randomly. So what we do here at MAAPEX is we're trying to figure out who's actually buying what you sell, and who's already winning those contracts, and where you realistically fit. So we'll help you look at agency buying history, incumbent contractors, which are the contractors that are possibly winning the same type contracts over and over and over again. Set aside usage, we can even, through the power of, transparent market research, we're able to know, what percentage of set asides are being used for, certain industry codes, and what are the procurement trends. So because not every agency buys the same way, we need to stop chasing everything. We need to focus more on those agencies specifically. Next slide. Networking and matchmaking. So government contracting is relationship driven, but agencies and primes want to work with companies they know, trust, and have seen before. One of the biggest things that I've heard I think it was last month when I was in Boston for an event, was someone was saying, for small businesses, we are trying to get a risk-averse business to say yes to us, right? And that business is the government of the United States. So someone who's very risk-averse, right? So we're trying to show them how to trust us. So what we do in our space here at APEX is we're trying to help clients connect with agencies, small business offices to have those conversations, procurement officials, hopefully some primes, teaming partners, industry events, webinars that are happening, they're happening all the time. And right now, I think in the government contracting world, it's very specific to maybe a certain amount of NAICS codes per webinar. But as we get them coming across our desk or through our email, if you are signed up with us, we whittle it down to what companies this training makes sense for, and we send out an email to every single company saying, hey, there's an opportunity here. Now it's up to you to take it or not, but I'd rather you at least see it than not get it at all and never knew it happened. So, back to connecting with, all those teaming partners, primes, procurement officials, and SBLOs, right? This is where persistence matters. And, usually we don't want to send out one email, and this is a long-term relationship building. So the companies that stay visible and consistent tend to do much better over time. Next slide. Okay, so subcontracting support. Contracting is the smartest entry point into government contracting. So instead of trying to win a huge prime contract immediately, you work with existing prime contractors already performing the work. So that helps you, one, that takes a lot of the responsibility away from you, which is kind of what we want in the beginning, so we can kind of learn the environment that we're in. We want to build past performance, build the relationships through that subcontracting opportunity, and like I said, reduce that risk early on. So we spend a lot of time helping clients identify prime contractors, supplier opportunities, teaming relationships. What a lot of our businesses on APEX, we're trying to help them focus on not so much the actual contract, but actually how do we get into the supply chain, under those big primes as well. Next slide. So one of the services that we provide is bid matching. So there are thousands of opportunities posted constantly, and no company has the time to manually search everything all day. And you will see, many of you might even already, subscribe to those third-party BidNet Direct, I think GovSpend and all those things that kind of round up all those contracts for you and send it to you. We have that service too at MAAPEX, and it's free. So we help clients set up bid matching systems that filter opportunities based on your industry codes, your keywords. We can even work on the geography if you wanted to stay local to just Mass, or regionally or nationally. And the goal is to help you focus on opportunities that actually fit instead of drowning in irrelevant postings. So finding an opportunity early on gives you more time to prepare, ask questions, and position yourself competitively. The only thing that I ask is, some of you are clients, so you guys are probably like, well, you guys never brought up bid matching. Well, we want to make sure before you get a bid match registration that you are, procurement ready, right? That you have all the basics in place. Because it doesn't make any sense if you're not ready to bid on those solicitations or look at them if, we're still working on SAM, or you still don't have a capability statement created, so on and so forth. Next slide, please. Cybersecurity guidance. So this is a major issue, especially in the defense space. So if you're pursuing DoD work, Department of Defense work, CMMC and NIST requirements are becoming increasingly important. So now we are not cybersecurity implementers. We are not coming in to certify your systems, but we do help businesses understand what those requirements mean, where gaps may exist, and what conversations they should be having. Because, increasingly companies don't realize cybersecurity can impact eligibility before they start pushing, not pushing, but pursuing opportunities. So, and especially if there's, controlled, unclassified information that's involved. Now, big thing for cybersecurity, again, if there's something that or something that is out of our scope, we will forward you to the right person to have that conversation, right? We are not cybersecurity experts, so we're only going to speak on the basics and the just basic cyber hygiene within a business and what that means in government contracting. There's opportunities over at MAAPEX for our manufacturing folks, Project Spectrum, which is a federally funded cybersecurity program that is kind of built CMMC, and we can get questions answered pretty quickly. Next slide, please. So when opportunities do come up, proposal quality matters. So one thing we help with clients is understanding solicitations. So a lot of businesses, when they jump into this and they don't have someone in their corner, they'll lose simply because they didn't know or they didn't follow instructions correctly, right? Government proposals are heavily compliance driven, and they're heavily compliance driven to weed out those that don't pay attention. So, imagine I'm a contracting officer and I have this bid out and I'm going to have 10,000 businesses put in for this thing, right? But if I put in the solicitation that you need to have 1-inch margins in the proposal, you need to stay under 10 pages, Times New Roman font, whatever it may be, right? But you don't pay attention to that. When that comes through, I'm not even reading it. I'm putting it to the side, and I'm going to pay attention to those that did the little things right. So we'll help you understand that solicitation and give us your thoughts. I like to give outlines of the solicitation. So we'll help you break down the request for proposal, request for quotes, whatever it may be, understand how they're going to evaluate that proposal, structure your responses correctly, identify if there's any gaps, like, this solicitation is perfect for us, Jeff, but they're asking for a certification we don't have. Well, we need to find out how can we get it and if we can get it. And we just want to improve your overall proposal readiness and, teach you some things so that when you do have a solicitation and we're not around to help or jump in, that you can do it confidently the next time. Our role is guidance, strategy, and support, right, throughout that process. Next slide. So post-award support, winning the contract is not the finish line. That's really where the contract management starts. So we'll help you understand what are the reporting compliance obligations, how does invoicing work, right? How do you report subcontracting if that needs to happen, and performance management. Because strong past performance becomes one of your biggest assets moving forward. The way that you get a strong past performance is that if you do perform on a contract, right, that contracting officer at the end of that contract's life is going to score you on how well you did, right? And the higher that SPURS score is, that supplier risk readiness score, the better off you're going to be when you're putting in other contracts, because those contracting officers are going to look back on that score itself. So government buyers, they just want to know, like, can this company actually perform successfully, and have they done it before, right? So good execution creates future opportunities is basically what I'm saying. Next slide. So growth strategy, and this is kind of the long-term goal. We want our businesses to build sustainable government contracting strategies. And usually that progression looks something like registrations and readiness, then maybe moving into subcontracting, maybe smaller direct awards that are in the simplified acquisition threshold, expanding agency relationships, right, through us, through events, through industry days, whatever it may be, and eventually, having larger prime opportunities. But there's no one size fits all path. Every company is different. And what matters is building a strategy that fits your capabilities and business goals. So government contracting is definitely not an overnight success. But for companies that are willing to be consistent and strategic, it could become a very strong long-term market, right? I believe government contracting is built to, even out the valleys in between the peaks and valleys of a business, right? Next slide, sorry. So that's the formal part of the presentation. So I appreciate everybody taking time to join today. And I'll we're going to move over to the Q&A, but we're going to go to the next slide because I think that gives our contact information. There we go. Yeah. So if you'd like to connect with us, please, our website is maapex.org. Email us. That contact at MAAPEX is going to be is going to go to all of us, so we'll be able to reach out pretty quickly. And if you're not sure whether government contracting is the right fit for your business, that's completely okay. Please reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. Let's understand, what you've heard so much about, and then we can, knock down any myths, or maybe it's something that's very exciting for you and your business. So at the end of the day, our goal is to meet you where you're at, understand what makes sense for your business, and break government contracting down into manageable steps that help you become more competitive over time. So again, thank you guys so much for spending some time with us today. We really don't take this work or your time for granted, and we're really excited to hopefully work, and those that we are working with already, with each and every one of you moving forward. So with that, we'll open it up to Q&A. What I'll do is the first question, the only question in the chat is bid matching registration and sharing the link for bid matching. So it's not a link. So if you are signed up with us and you have an advisor, just reach out to your advisor, and then so that's how that works. Okay. And then you can open it up to people to talk if they want.
If they register.
Oh yeah.
There we go. I can.
Yep. So you have one. Okay. Yep. Leonard, we're ready when you unmute.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Jeff. So me, I'm actually I'm already on sam.gov and comes by. I'm, small consulting training firm. I'm just trying to figure out how do I build a relationship with a larger prime contractor? I think or teaming partner, like especially for service-based firm, because I focus on training, consulting, workforce. Because real quick, because I just received like a contract opportunity through the city of Boston to provide diversity. It's like 89 million community center construction project. So even though we're not a contractor, construction trade contractor, but I specialize in workforce development, leadership training, community engagement. So I'm trying to figure out what will be a best subcontracting strategy. I think the stuff you were saying, because it's about positioning yourself and stuff like that.
Well, great question. I think the way that we kind of move forward with that is, for me, in my seat, if you were my client, well, what I want to do first is understand your ecosystem, because I work with so many industries, right? So it's to understand how your system works and how your industry works. And then we need to identify what those bigger companies are around you, right? Kind of create a web around you. And then once we have those names, right, and you probably know some because of the space that you're in already, what we're trying to do is find out how to work with them, right? So some of those bigger companies, those big primes, they do have work with us pages. Some of them have supplier diversity offices or small business offices that we can reach out to, right? And then also, like, we can understand that maybe there's an event or an industry day that, a contact from that company is going to show up, right? This is where the relationship building, I think, really comes into place. It's not to say that, like, you have the best, you are the best person for the job and you won't get it, but it really does help when they know who Leonard is and what Leonard brings to the table, right? So I would very much love to sit down and have a conversation.
Yes,
unless you have an advisor.
Thank you so much.
They'll have the same conversation. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, please do. Yeah, thanks, Leonard.
Hello.
Hi, Christian.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
Oh, hi, great. Yeah, so I've been working with you guys for, I think this is 3 weeks now with Tom Wilbur. He's been great, very helpful. I got into this just because of my website. I landed a Coast
Yeah.
Guard job, and it completely just, I'm like, this is what I want to do. I don't want
Yeah.
to do residential anymore. It was exciting. It was hard. It was
Yeah.
intense. So, right. So brought me new passion into it. I'm trying to let's see. The Mentor Protege program really stuck out to me
Hmm.
a lot. And I want to find a way for me to put more time into this because as you know, this is a whole new world, at
Yeah.
least for somebody who's I've worked for small government grants my whole life for HUD programs, specifically lead abatement with children that are poisoned with lead paint. And it transitioned into the Coast Guard where I had to abate an overhead for lead paint because there was hot work being done. So I
Hmm.
connected with a prime that was pure luck. So I don't think I'm gonna get lucky like that again.
Yeah.
Now I'm like chasing that, right? Now
Yeah.
I'm like, I want another one, right? So
Right.
what can I do, I guess? So the security really stuck out for me as far as and then just military.
Yeah.
Military,
100%.
yeah.
I think, first of all, well, so great that you kind of fell into that first like
Yeah.
subcontract role, right? But did you
Yeah.
get any type of past performance uh writing from them about how well you did?
Okay.
Or,
Yeah.
and it you did?
Yeah, so there was a long email thread and they're very happy. So they sent me
Okay.
out to
Yeah.
Maryland to see another one, right? And I'm like, yes, like, but then I got outbid by a local guy by like 150 grand, right?
Okay.
And then I was crushed. I haven't heard since.
Yeah.
They're a prime for
Yeah.
IDIQ. So there's a lot there in itself, but I had to let go of it because I found myself just looking into hire.gov, researching their
Yeah.
IDIQ, their vehicle, the whole thing, and then I just wasted time, wasted so many
Yeah.
hours. I could have been progressing. I did create what's it called, capacity statement,
Mhm.
that I put a lot of time into, and I don't. I guess I'm just trying to see what more, who can I connect, how much more can I do to really position myself to work directly with DoD. I want to become a part
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah. So I would say the best thing to start is to like kind of like the research that you were doing for that one company or that one prime, right? I think we need to cast a wider net, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, in your industry, right, there's a lot of it, right, and a lot of money is being spent. So
Yeah.
I won't go into more detail. Like I know Tom will take you through and go through some, if he hasn't already, go through market research. But really, what we should be doing after that is now that you have your capability statement and you're getting more and more procurement ready. Now we need
Mhm.
to have an outreach plan to those primes or to those tier one or tier two subcontractors, right? Because those are usually big companies as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also just understanding what agencies, government wise, are around us and how to reach out to them, right? So, and we're doing that over here as well. Like this morning, right, I met with the Hanscom Small Business Office, to introduce myself and learn how we can collaborate well with them and bring back, the most bang for our buck for our clients to be like, hey, this is how you interact with Hanscom, but we have to do it the right way. So things that that doesn't mean that you can't do it on your own and reaching out, but we're
Yeah.
definitely here to assist. One of the other things that, I don't know if you guys have gotten, but I'm going to put it into the chat is the main matchmaker,
Yeah.
right? So that's an event where you can go up and they're going to have a whole bunch of agencies, municipalities, other
Mhm.
prime contractors, and basically you're going to go there and it's kind of like speed dating for small businesses.
Okay.
But it's a really good event. We'll be up there both days.
Is that in
Um,
Maine? The one in June
it's
coming
in
up?
Maine. Yeah, it's one in
Yeah.
Maine. Um,
Okay. Okay.
that link didn't pop up, Leonard. I'll make sure that Tom sends the main matchmaker link after the event, and then yeah. So there's opportunities out there. It's really just really creating that individual plan. Like I said, meeting you where you're at because you're in a different spot than
Yeah.
others, and building out that what is our attack plan? How do we get in front of these people, right? Because it can't just be generic. It needs to be, I have a solution for a problem, right?
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course. to Matt.
Hello. I just got into the world of government contracting like 2 weeks ago. I
Yeah.
was wondering if you had any advice you'd give to somebody just starting out. Like, what can they do to master the process of government contracting, or going from, finding the contract to bidding and,
Yeah.
just the whole process. Like, what would be some advice you'd give to master, I guess,
Yeah. I think the first thing that we can do, right, if I was in your shoes and I was trying to get into government contracting, is really to set the tone for myself, right? Understand that in this realm of government contracting, it takes effort and time, right? So if you are, let's say you are trying to attack different revenue streams, right?
Yep.
The focus of government contracting is going to take a lot of your time away, right? So that's why you have someone like us to kind of help you through that process. As far as mastering it, really, it's just taking it kind of step by step into the chunks that you understand, not just do, but actually understand why that process is there and how it works. Because that's going to help you in the future, because you won't have to go back and try to relearn anything.
Okay.
And that's kind of the phased type of program that we're working with Mass APEX, is that we're going to start foundationally and then train a contractor, right? So there's not like one answer for it. I would say just be open to understanding that government contracting can be a longer term game. There's no really easy wins unless you're Christian. But we're here to help and help you understand and learn, not just be like, hey, click this and do that. And here's some documents that we created for you, right? We'll do some of those things. We'll do a lot of hand holding in the beginning, but we want our clients to learn and to be, professionals in their contracting.
Thank
I
you.
hope that answers your question. And I think you have you set up a meeting yet? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
With
Yep.
Tom? Okay, perfect.
Yep.
So he'll take you through everything. And I think that, working with Tom, you're going to get a lot of training, a lot of going in depth into things that make sense for you and your business. So just, hold on tight and enjoy the ride, because that's what we're here for. So I don't think I see anyone else up there, and I think we're getting close to the end of our webinar. Like I said, we don't take what we do for granted. We understand where everyone is sitting in their seat right now, and that they want to be successful, in this world. So we try, from the bottom of our hearts, to do as much as we can for our clients. So we're very excited that you guys showed up today, and very excited to continue to work with you. If you are not a client yet, please come see us. Hop on the website, email us. We'll get right back with you. And Tiffany, PTAC is APEX now. They changed about 2.5-3 years ago. So we are the PTAC for Massachusetts, but it's called Mass APEX. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your week, and you'll get the registration link for the main matchmaker. And I hope everyone today is signed up for the GSA one next week, because that one's going to be fun. So thank you guys.